All right, here's a story. This is the real story. The story of how Rabbi David Farkas became a Chassid of the Baal Shem Tov. Rabbi David Farkas was not a Chassid of the Baal Shem Tov. And in fact, when the Baal Shem Tov came on the scene in Judaism, a lot of the great Talmudic scholars opposed him. But there were some that went to see him and they became his followers. And there were a lot that had just big doubts. They didn't know to make a decision or not. So this Rabbi David Farkas, he sent a pupil of his to the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov lived nearby where this David Farkas was. And he sent a pupil of his, David Farkas sent, and he came back with the news that in the evening meal of the Baal Shem Tov on Shabbat, he sent him there on Shabbat, the evening meal on Shabbat, that interestingly enough, everyone sits down, and as they start the meal, everyone falls asleep for about 5 minutes and then wakes up. So this David Farkas says, well, that's really interesting. You know what? And what about what he said? The Baal Shem Tov said very interesting things. But that's one thing that his pupil really noticed. So this David Farkas says, I'm going to go there and I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm going to see every moment what's going on. So he gets a really good sleep on Friday and goes to the Baal Shem Tov, to the Baal Shem Tov synagogue, and he prays there with the prayers. The prayers are wonderful. And it's not exactly like he's used to, but a little more enthusiastic and things. But then, okay, so he sits down to eat, and everybody washes their hands. They all sit down to eat, and he's really fighting with himself not to fall asleep, and he falls asleep. And in his dream, he sees that there's an argument. The Baal Shem Tov is arguing with his prize pupil, his first pupil, called Dov Ber of Mezrich. He's arguing with his pupil. And what's the argument? The argument is about washing your hands for eating. What's the proper intentions you should use in your mind, you should have in your mind for what? So the Baal Shem Tov said something, and his pupil, Rav Dov Ber of Mezrich, is called the Maggid of Mezrich, he disagreed. And they're arguing there, and suddenly there appears in this, the argument, they're arguing in this big room or whatever they're arguing, and suddenly there appears this younger man, a younger fellow, maybe in his 30s, and the Baal Shem Tov says to the Maggid of Mezrich, here's the Arizal. Let's see what he has to say. So the Arizal says, the law is like the Baal Shem Tov. The law is like the Baal Shem Tov, that not like you, like Maggid of Mezrich, not like you. So that's it, and he wakes up. And as he wakes up, everybody else wakes up. All the other people, they all wake up, and they're all looking around. And the Baal Shem Tov starts a song. Then the Baal Shem Tov, after they finish eating the fish, Baal Shem Tov speaks, and he starts talking about washing your hands. And what's the intention that you're supposed to have for washing your hands, when you wash your hands? So he explains that, the upper worlds and the unifications that are done and the different levels with the spheros. And Maggid of his pupil, the Maggid of Mezrich, says, just 1 second. That what you said there, I don't think that's proper. It doesn't say that in the Arizal. And the Baal Shem Tov said, okay, what you say is right, but that's what the Arizal meant. That's what he meant. And he said, and if you have any doubts, he said to the Maggid of Mezrich, and if you have any doubts that that's what the Arizal meant, ask Reb David Farkas. He just saw the Baal Shem Tov say that I'm right. As soon as David Farkas saw that, he realized that somehow or other that he was asleep. He wasn't really asleep. And that he saw the Arizal, it wasn't just like a soul that he saw. He saw the Arizal. And not only that, the Baal Shem Tov was aware of his whole dream and everything that he saw. And the Maggid of Mezrich, who was his pupil, was not aware of it. At that point, he said this, if he knows all the things up in the heavens and also on the earth that the law is like him, that's how he became a chassid of the Baal Shem Tov. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all tomorrow.